Okay, everybody, Bolt Bible here. We've had a really exciting start to free agency. We brought in some real big names. I think Tom Telesco has even exceeded the expectations of the fan base. We thought maybe we'd get one or two big names, but man, he's been busy. But I'm here to address the fact that so many people are so content with all the defensive additions that they're now clamoring for a wide receiver in the first. Mind you, most of those people were already clamoring for a wide receiver in the first. So this just adds to their justification. Now, I've heard a lot of people and their logic behind wanting it, and I'm always open to hearing other people's logic. However, if you don't have a logical explanation other than, Cincinnati, the Bengals, the Super Bowl, stop that. That's nonsense. I'm not worried about another team who's not even in our division. Okay? We have to play the Kansas City Chiefs twice a year, and we know what they're capable of. So does the rest of the world. Russell Wilson just went to Denver. That might be the piece that puts that offense all together. The Raiders, I'm not going to kiss their ass too much, but in those rivalry games, you really never know what's going to happen. Not to mention, we have to play the NFC West next year. We got to play the Rams, the Cardinals, the 49ers, who have a great running game always. And that was our weak spot. Okay? Not to mention, I'm not too worried about Seattle Seahawks at this point, to be honest. That's a tall task to ask for on the defensive side, to play all those high-powered offenses. You have to keep adding to the defense. This is what I'm saying. And my justification is for taking defense. My justification for taking defense in the first round still. I've never even gotten off that bandwagon. Okay? J.C. Jackson, that was a great signing. Okay? But outside of J.C. Jackson, Davis, and Asante Samuel Jr., who will keep getting better, who's the corners behind them? All it takes is one injury, and what? Tavon Campbell has to start again? You guys aren't thinking about the depth here. Outside of Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack, who is there? Oh, okay. It's Chris Rumph. Okay? I do believe in Chris Rumph and his development, but we don't know if he'll be ready to take on a big load next year or if he'll need an extra year. And who's behind Rumph? Nobody. Okay? What about linebacker? One injury and Nick Neiman's the starter. What about safety? One injury and Trey Marshall's the starter. You see where I'm going with this? I think with pick number 17, it has to be defense. Some way, shape, or form. I prefer defensive front seven, either linebacker, defensive line, defensive end, defensive tackle, whatever. Now, a lot of people are going to say, well, not defensive tackle now. I say bullshit, okay? I absolutely love the signing of Sebastian Joseph Day. But he only played 7 games last year. We don't know. Hopefully he stays healthy. I hope he does. But also that production he had, do you think maybe he benefited from playing next to Aaron Donald? Austin Johnson, we signed him. Run-stopping specialist. That's a good pickup. But he's a rotational guy. Who else is there besides that? Jerry Tillery, a.k.a. the Invisible Man. He needs to be buried on the depth chart, not defensive tackle 3. And not just that, keep in mind that last year, Covington, Tillery, Linval Joseph, and Justin Jones all played ample amount of playing time. That's a 4-man rotation in defensive at the defensive tackle position. Sometimes Staley runs a lot of 3 defensive tackle sets. Sometimes it's a lot of 3 defensive end sets. You want to add another piece there. Now, I'm not saying it has to be Jordan Davis. I would like that, yes. But chances are he's going to be gone by pick number 17. But his teammate, also at the same position, Devonte Wyatt, is a great consolation prize. He's not as big as Davis, but he's probably the more well-rounded of the two, because he's got a better pass rush, and he's a really good defense. I don't want to say he's just as good at run stopping, but he's pretty good at that as well. Also at pick number 17, I would be hard-pressed not to want to take Jermaine Johnson from Florida State if he's there. Yes, he's a defensive end, but he's very versatile, and the fact that he fits Staley's system so well is kind of scary. He can rush with his hand in the dirt. You can kick him inside. He could be a stand-up outside rusher. He can play zone contain on the edge, which means he's not rushing in. He just kind of is sitting there waiting for the run-pass option, try to contain the edge. And he's even been asked to drop into shallow zone coverage, which we know from last year Staley likes to ask his defensive ends to do that. He already fits in well. And what's better than having 2 great rushers? It's 3 great rushers. The 2017 Jacksonville Jaguars, the 2019 San Francisco 49ers, they show you that defensive line can carry an entire team. Even the 2020 Washington football team, now Commanders, made the playoffs solely based on their defensive front 7. You have to keep adding to that. You have to have the bully mentality to these offenses. Oh, you want to fight? I understand. You want to fight offensive firepower with more offensive firepower. That's cool. I mean, it could work. But I think with all these defensive additions they've made, a new defensive head coach, you have to have the mentality of, you got offensive firepower? Yeah, that's cool. Watch this while I sit back and punch you right in your fucking mouth. Okay? That's the type of mentality they need to have. You cannot be 1 or 2 injuries away from starting some no-name nobodies. We cannot afford to have a few injuries completely set back the progress of this team. You have to keep adding to it. Now, I know a lot of people want a right tackle. I want a right tackle as well. But I think you could find one in the later rounds. If they do take a right tackle in the first, it would be best if they traded back from 17 to, early, mid-20s to get it, or to get one. And I would only do so if they were able to pick up a second-round pick to mitigate the one they lost in the Khalil Mack trade. And then you pick the best defensive player available. That I would be okay with. That's the scenario that I'm okay with them taking offense in the first round. A trade back, get an offensive tackle, right tackle in particular, and still pick up another second round to make up for the one you lost. That's the only time that I will be happy with the offensive weapon. Now I get it. I'm not going to be mad if we get Olave. I'm not going to be mad if we get Jameis Williams. But I'm leaning towards the defensive bully mentality here. We have to keep being the bully to these glamorous, offenses that the media loves. Okay? Be the bad guy here. That's what we have to do. Be the villain to these pretty boy offenses. That's what I'm thinking. We don't have a whole lot more money to keep making big additions in free agency. So I think defense this defensive class in the draft is a very deep on the defensive side of the ball, and we would be wise to take advantage of it. That's all I'm saying. Do me a favor, like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Like I said, we're going to keep doing these video form vlogs, I guess, or articles rather than written forms from now on. Yeah, so like and subscribe. I appreciate it. Let me know your thoughts, and until we meet again.